Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Here is a quick video on primary impression for an edentulous patient using impression compound. For making the impression, some of the instruments I have here are a wax knife, a scalpel with a blade, mouth mirrors to retract lips and cheeks, and for examination, T-burnisher to help in determining the PPS area, non-perforated stock trays, rubber bowl, and a plier. The first step before you start with your impression is to select an appropriately sized tray. You have to make sure that the tray is at least 5 to 6 millimeters larger than the outside surface of the ridge. You need the space because it is going to be occupied by the impression material. Also, the tray should cover the entire surface of the ridge. Make sure that it extends posteriorly to the hamular notch and the posterior palatal seal area. In this video, I'm using impression compound for my primary impression. To soften the impression compound, I've taken some hot water in a bowl at a temperature of approximately 60 degrees Celsius. For the maxillary impression, the impression compound is kneaded into a ball till it is completely soft as demonstrated. Then the material is loaded on the tray. I usually prefer pushing the material towards the periphery of the tray and make indents or depression on the impression surface according to the shape of the arch. Doing this reduces the chances of underextension when recording the sulcus depth. Avoid keeping any excess material in the PPS area as it may induce a gag reflex in the patient. One more thing that I do is lock the material on the tray. This prevents any chances of material pulling away from the tray during the impression procedure. Reheat the material before introducing in the patient's mouth. Make sure the material is soft enough throughout so that you can capture the impression surface easily. For maxillary impression, stand behind the patient, retract the lips and cheeks with one hand, and introduce the tray in the patient's mouth. Take the labial frenum as your guide and make sure your tray handle coincides with the frenum. Once the tray is seated correctly, apply a gentle pressure on the tray at the center and all over the ridge. Holding the tray at the center with one hand, you can start your border movements to record the depth and the width of the labial and buccal sulcus. Move the lips and cheeks in outward, downward, and inward direction. In the labial and buccal vestibule, if you happen to observe any area that is underextended or your impression material hasn't reached, you can push the material with your finger to reach the sulcus and then again perform the movements. Once that is done, remove the tray and inspect. See that all the freni are recorded properly, labial as well as buccal, the sulcus depth is recorded, the maxillary tuberosity, and also your palate. Once this is done, you can mark your posterior palatal seal area using the T-burnisher and an indelible pencil. You can start by locating the hamular notch first. To do that, you can use a T-burnisher, drag it over the ridge and the posterior most area where you get a drop is your hamular notch. Make sure that the denture does not terminate over the movable tissues of the soft palate, rather at the junction of the movable and immovable part of the soft palate. To identify this, you can ask the patient to say "ah" in a non-vigorous fashion. I'll probably make another video on the posterior palatal seal area for better understanding. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Once the posterior palatal seal area is identified, it can be transferred on the impression so that the custom tray for our secondary impression is extended accordingly. You can remove the excess from the posterior most part and further refine the impression by tempering it over the flame, cooling it a little in a bowl of water, and then introducing it in the patient's mouth. Repeat the movements that we had performed earlier. You can skip this step altogether if you want to, but by doing this, you can get a proper depth and width of the sulcus, which reduces your efforts during border molding for the final impression. So it is entirely up to you. And with this, we come to an end. If this video has helped you in any way, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.